What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. How is everybody doing? It's the late night view. Once again, back for another late night view. You know what? I was watching yesterday's one. I was watching yesterday's late night view with Flex. And one of the first things he said in it, he said, oh, it's really great to have you guys back talking to you guys and all this kind of stuff. And he went, no more Owen. He went, no more Owen. No more Owen, no more KG, just you and I. I'm sitting there watching. I couldn't believe it. Wow, who's laughed last? Who's laughed last? Here I am. Guess who's back again, baby? It's me. Yes, I've got the keys. I don't actually have, metaphorically, I've got the keys to the castle tonight. I've got the keys to the car. We'll go straight off a bridge. No, bit dark. Nevertheless, how is everybody doing? Hope you're enjoying your Friday. Another week is passing very, very quickly. Another week in the world of Manchester United. As always, smash a like on the video and let me know where you're watching from. We can get your comments up in the live chat as well. So we'll get your feelings. This is the thing, and you can see it in the thumbnail. We've gone with United silence continues because it does. It's nothing. You know, we might as well start with shh, because that's all we're hearing. That's all we're hearing. All we're hearing is silence from Manchester United at the moment. And it's tough as a United fan because you kind of, I don't know about you, and this might just be me. This might just be my personality. It might just be my complex, my problem. I'm sitting there. I'm just stewing. I'm still thinking about Man City. I'm still thinking about that nothing's happening. I'm thinking about we're not hearing anything. And I'm just sitting there stewing. And as time's going on, I'm like, I'm thinking like that. I'm going, I tell you what. And every time something flashes up, it's usually something that you don't really want to see, and you go, that's what it is. So how is everybody doing? Tony's watching from Alberta, Canada. Sinead's watching from Ireland. Big up to everyone in Ireland. Ryan's watching from I'm assuming that's South Africa. Was it South Asia? You can let me know, Ryan. G41 says, Oaks. It's Owen. I tell you what, growing up, you would be surprised. Like, I think like Owen's relatively, straightforward. I've had so many people call me just Rowan. Like, that's not even near. I mean, I can get that's kind of Owen, but they just put a random R in front of it. I used to get that all the time. Lou says from Uganda. It's amazing. I know I say this all the time, and it's such a cliche. And everyone will say, like, you say this every single time, and I do. But it just blows my mind. It always blows my mind. Like, such an amazing community we've already got. And we've only been going for, July to, 6 months-ish. And with the community we've already got, and actually, I'll let you in a little bit of a secret. And I will talk about Manchester United in a minute. I'm not deliberately stalling because I don't want to talk about United. I've got some stuff to say. But I was actually talking to Flex last night after the show because I was so devastated. He said no more. No, obviously, that's a joke. I was talking to him, and we were just saying, like, the community that we're building is just amazing. It really is amazing. And that 100% that is the truth. I was talking to him last night. The community we're building is just amazing. Like, the respect. And that's what really, I think, stands out to me. The respect I think everyone has for everyone else's opinion. People can share their opinion. You don't necessarily have to agree, disagree. There's real great engaging conversation going on. And I just think that's great. I really, really do think that's great. And it's just awesome. It's awesome. And despite, some of the negativity that's surrounding Manchester United at the moment, at least we can keep things positive in the way we sort of, converse with each other. I think it's fantastic. I really do. So that's a nice note to start off with. I started off a bit angry. I told you that I was stewing. Now I feel cheered myself up a little bit. Oh, that's great. We might as well end now. No, we are going to talk about Manchester United, as I mentioned, and as you can see on the thumbnail, it says that United silence continues, and that's because that's what we're getting at the moment. Silence from Manchester United, and nothing's happening. I guess the news today is that there is no news. Nothing is happening. It's very quiet. Some would say maybe too quiet, like in a horror movie, when you've got like the soundtrack playing in the background and then just nothing's playing, and you can hear the person breathing like... And you're thinking, something's going to happen in a minute. It's going to make me jump. It's eerily quiet at the moment. But I think it isn't because, it's like in the horror movie, if we're going to stick with that analogy, in the movie when it goes quiet, that's because something big is about to happen. It's the proverbial calm before the storm. There's a storm over Manchester United, but nothing's happening. That's what it comes down to. It's the head in the sand mentality of this club at the moment, this board, these directors, these owners. I've said it before. I feel like Simon or Garfunkel, whichever one you want to call me, because all I'm hearing is the sound of silence. And yes, that is a Simon and Garfunkel reference in 2021. I will continue with it. It's an absolute tune. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. If you haven't heard the cover, there's a band called Disturbed, which is a bit of like a heavy metal band, but they do an amazing cover of The Sound of Silence. He's on like the Conan O'Brien show. I'm already on another tangent, but it's amazing. Go watch it. It's on YouTube. I think it's like Conan O'Brien's most viewed video on his channel. It's amazing. But going back to Manchester United, all I'm hearing is The Sound of Silence. That's all we're hearing. Nothing. There is nothing. We're not hearing anything. Yeah, you get the Brendan Rodgers stuff. That's been kind of coming out the last couple of days. It's kind of loose, maybe, at best, isn't it? The Brendan Rodgers thing. I don't know about you. I don't know if I'm convincing myself about Brendan Rodgers becoming the Manchester United manager just because it's a change and it's something. It's something to latch onto. At least it shows some kind of ambition because there's none. There is no ambition by this board or this club at the moment. And when it comes to other potential managers, and again, we still do have a manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has not been sacked. I don't think he will until, depending on what results happen, he's going to be in charge against Watford. We know that at that point. But other people that could theoretically sometime down the line replace him, Zidane, pretty much off the table at this point. I don't even think the Zidane discussion's even out there now. Ranić, they don't want, even though I think he would be a great interim appointment. They don't want. Pochettino's at PSG. His name kind of gets thrown out there a little bit, but then immediately it's like, no, he's at PSG. He's not going to leave. Ten Hag, lots of people are talking about Ten Hag. Fans saying, wouldn't it be great if Ten Hag came in? But he's barely been linked to the job. Nothing really concrete. If there was a name that you could say which name is being linked the most with the Manchester United hot seat right now, it's Brendan Rodgers. That's it. And again, those links are loose at best. They're kind of, United like him. That's about it. That really is about it. But I think, once again, it just goes back to this head-in-the-sand mentality. I sound like Nigel Pearson. I want to get into the boardroom and point at... I've got some things to say about Avram Glazer. But I want to point at Ed Woodward and Richard Arnold and John Murtough and all of the Glazers and go, you're an ostrich, you're an ostrich, you're an ostrich. Because your head is firmly in that sand right now. Ollie's on holiday. He's back in Norway. The majority of the players that aren't on international duty, they're on holiday. We can touch on that in a second because there are some people still at Carrington, and it's to be honest, it's who you would expect. They're kind of levels of professionalism, but they've all been given a week off, which again has confused a lot of players. You've got Avram Glazer giving pep talks to college football teams in the United States with the wrong information. I don't know if you saw that today. If you didn't, I will clue you in. Basically, Avram Glazer, I don't know which college football team, it was some college football team in the United States, and you've got Avram Glazer there, and he's talking to these players like he's meant to be some kind of inspiration. Oh, I tell you what, isn't it inspiring how I bought the biggest football club in the world with no money, with borrowed money, lended money, and I put that big football club, that institution, our family did, my father did, our family put that institution in massive amounts of debt, and we put them on the stock exchange, and we take all this money out a year. Oh, what an inspiration. If you just work hard, you can actually kill a football club like me. Oh, what an inspiration he is. So he's there giving this pep talk to this college football side. And he's talking about Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he's talking about Tom Brady. I think he's doing some like golf tournament. And he starts doing sprints. And they go, Tom, why are you doing sprints? He goes, because I want to win the Super Bowl. How inspiring. And then he goes, and you look at Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United. He came into Manchester United when he was 16 years of age. What? 16 years of age? No, he didn't. He signed for Manchester United on August 12th, 2003, and he was 18 years old. He played for Sporting Lisbon when he was 16 years of age, but he was not with Manchester United when he was 16 years of age. That is incorrect. Now, he then goes on to say, well, Ronaldo's the first to get into training and the last to leave, first to arrive, last to leave, all that kind of stuff. And it's true. But come on, if you're going to be an owner, at least know what you own. At least know what you own, right? So I saw that. That annoyed me. That aggravated me. And it's like, it feels like with Manchester United at the moment, like, it's sort of like the board. I don't want to throw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer too much under the bus, but certainly the board. It's like they booked a week to Tenerife. They go, we're going to go to Tenerife. And as they're leaving, as they've got their suitcases like that, they're going, we're going to leave. We booked this Tenerife. And as they shut the door, they actually, I don't know, set the house on fire. And they go, oh, the house is on fire. And they get into their taxi that takes them to the airport. And they look out of like the back windscreen. And they go, I tell you what, I hope that fire's out when I get back. Because that's the mentality right now, isn't it? That's the mentality at this point. You know, they're basically, their kind of mindset right now Their mindset is, let's just not talk about it. Let's go away. Let's have a break. Let's go away for a week or two. Let's use this international break as this elaborate smokescreen, if you will. And when we come back, when the league starts up again, people will be so focused on the present and the future of Manchester United, about where they're going to be going over the course of the next few weeks, they'll have forgotten about the past. They don't want to talk about the past. They'll be so focused on the games ahead that they've forgotten about what happened. Well, guess what? That is not happening. That is not happening. Nobody is forgetting. Certainly, the opposition fans that we lost to at Old Trafford, Liverpool and Manchester City, they're not going to allow us to forget anytime soon. And I don't want to forget anytime soon, because if I forget and if I move on and I just go, wow, the Liverpool thing, the Man City thing, that was in the past, that lets them off the hook. They get away with it again. And I'm tired of letting them get away with it again. And that's why I say it's a head in the sand mentality. There is a storm right now, and instead of doing anything about it, let's just put our head in the sand and wait for the storm to pass. Because we lack ambition or a desire to fix things that are wrong. Can you imagine if this board, if they were in charge of the Titanic? Can you imagine if they were in charge of the Titanic? You got people running around screaming, the ship is sinking, there's water coming on board, and they're going, don't worry about it. We've given the captain 2 weeks off. Oh, don't worry about it. He's gone. He's gone back home. Oh, don't worry about it. They're like, it's sinking. That's what it kind of feels like right now. That's what it feels like. Rami says, where is that video? Well, this is interesting as well, Rami. So you've got that video of Avram Glazer doing that inspirational speech. And obviously a lot of people went, no, Cristiano Ronaldo was not at Manchester United when he was 16. So the video has been taken down. The video has disappeared. It is gone. Because they know, because these Manchester United fans are like, that's not true. Or even people that are Man United fans are going, well, that's wrong. And it doesn't look great as an owner who doesn't know, this information. And I saw some people in response to it as well, trying to say like, oh, you're splitting hairs, what's 2 years of a difference? And it's kind of like, well, it's the principle. That just sums up the Glazers. It's just false, isn't it? Like they have this grand plan for Manchester United. No, they don't. They don't have any grand plan for Manchester United, apart from taking money out every single year. Their big ambition is, can we finish in the top 4? Still mathematically, yes, keep him on. He's doing a good job. What about the Premier League or the Champions League? Oh, I don't care about that. Come on. We'd have to spend money to do that. We'd have to do money. We'd have to spend actual money. We'd have to invest. We're not doing that. And nothing is going to change. And I think I've said this before, and I don't mean to be this Debbie Downer. I don't mean to be this guy that's just constantly, whinging about the board and the directors and all that kind of stuff. But nothing is going to change. Nothing. Now, do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to go eventually? I do. And I've seen these reports recently where, some players or some people in the club almost think that he's a lame duck at this point. And it's kind of true. I do think we might pick up a few results here and there. We might beat Watford, maybe. But we all know where this is going. And even if we get through the Champions League group, I've seen that as well. Even if we get through the Champions League group, I think Flex has said it as well. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Because if we go up against anyone that's half decent, we'll lose. Look at the league this season. That's what's happened. We get through against teams that, we probably should be beating or getting through against. But when we go up against teams of quality, we lose. And it will be the same in the Champions League. Those performances. You think Ronaldo's going to get some last-minute goals against Bayern Munich or whatever. Be like 6-0 down by that point. But we got that last-minute goal. Come on. Euphoric. Sue. No, come on. And the silence is just deafening at this point. And I almost use this analogy. I was talking to my friend about this the other day. And to be fair, I don't know if this analogy is any good, but we will go with it. We will go with it. I have this analogy about a car, right? If you were a passenger on a long car trip, say you're getting like a coach somewhere, right? You get Megabus, if that's still a thing. But you're getting a big long coach trip. It's like 5 or 6 hours. You're on a coach to wherever. And during that 5-6 hour car trip or coach trip, you nearly crash like 10 or 15 times. And the reason you nearly crash 10 or 15 times is because the driver of the coach is terrible, or they don't know what they're doing, they're not experienced enough, or they're just not good enough to drive a vehicle of that size. They're out of their depth. When you get to the end of the journey, and you get there in one piece somehow, miraculously, you don't get out and go, yeah, we nearly crashed 1 million times, but we made it, so I'll let you drive me back. You would go, no, I can't believe I've made it here alive, but I'm not getting in that vehicle again, and I'm certainly not going to let you drive me again. And it's kind of the same, isn't it? We have skirted through this season so far by the skin of our teeth, and even to the point where, we're still already off it. But you wouldn't just go, well, we got some good results, so it's fine. It's the same here. And that follow-up question to that is, why is the board ignoring the obvious? Because there's no ambition. That's the problem. That's the problem at Manchester United right now. We lack ambition. Mark McLucky says, spot on, Owen. Well, look, and this is the thing. I was talking to Flex about this the other night as well. That, I encourage people who have different opinions to myself to share them, because I'm not right on everything. I'm not. I'm really not. And it's just frustrating. It's just that's what it's like at the moment with Manchester United. It's just frustrating. We're only 22 likes away from 100 likes, so let's be sure to smash a like on the like button. Oh, I like this, Kristen. Says, was Ollie at the wheel of the coach? It merges those analogies. Brilliant. I wasn't even thinking about Ollie's at the wheel when I was thinking of that analogy. Fantastic. I love it. If anything, because I love a pun, we'll talk about some other things, but keep the car puns going. Last time I asked for Chris puns, car puns. If Manchester United were a car right now, what car would they be? What model of car would they be? And what problem on the car would they have? Would it be the brakes aren't working? Are the parking sensors screwed up? Are they missing a wing mirror? What's going on? You can let me know. I have some other things I do want to talk about as well. We're going to keep this one relatively brief because, I think there's England playing tonight as well. I'm so tuned out of the international break. I really am. So a couple of things I do want to talk about. One, and I mentioned the Manchester United players being on holiday this week, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer being on holiday this week. This comes from Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, so there's a lot of weight to this one. Says some Manchester United players have been surprised to get the option of a week off from training this week. There are people close to the club who feel there was scope for additional practice on patterns of play. Scope for additional patterns of play. There is absolute rationale for extra training on patterns of play. Scope, that's where I saw that one. Scope. And it's kind of like when you hear that report of some people going, maybe we should carry on training. They're like, no. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. We've got some good puns here. So SM says, Mustang, awesome in the 60s, 90s, and 2000s, but not such a big deal anymore. Like it. Snake Eye says, Pinto with no steering fluid. Tremendous. Ryan G says, a Bentley with an unlicensed driver. Not bad. It's kind of what it feels like. You kind of do have this sort of Rolls Royce of a team with some sort of weird parts added on. But like you said, maybe an unlicensed driver. That's what it kind of feels like, doesn't it? But I'm enjoying those, so keep them coming. So yeah, when I saw that story saying that basically some were surprised to have the week off and there was scope for additional practice on patterns of play, of course there is. You just watch the City match or the Liverpool match. Of course there is scope for more training. But at this point, and maybe this is the problem as well, at this point, with that coaching staff, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with Michael Carrick, Kieran McKenna, Mike Phelan doesn't do tactics or training. I don't really know what, he's just kind of there. With them doing those training sessions, realistically, what would they achieve? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we can get angry about them going on holiday and not doing anything this week, but what would they actually achieve this week? Because what have they done over nearly 3 years of these training sessions? Not... what's a week going to do? But again, that's part of the problem. And maybe Jadon Sancho's probably happy because he's thinking, well, I don't want to be doing any right wing back stuff. Can you imagine? He hadn't coming in. We probably could do some extra training. Jadon, you're not in the international squad. I wonder why, by the way. Oh yeah, because you're not playing, because we're not picking you. Do you want to come in and play as a right wing back again in some training sessions? He's been like, no, thank you. 75 million. You chased me for 18 months. Play me as a right wing back. Oh my goodness. Nevertheless, Solskjaer did give the option of reporting to Carrington in his absence with other coaching staff in the building. Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood took part in a session on Wednesday with a selection of under 23 and under 18 players. Rashford was also in on Thursday and Friday, again training with academy players, having been granted time off on Tuesday to collect his MBE at Windsor Castle. So first of all, Marcus Rashford, tremendous. Yeah, tremendous. Now, I know Rashford, there's been obviously some fitness stuff coming back from an injury, and that's kind of the story you want to hear, isn't it? Maybe that's the only element of positivity at the moment, is that Rashford, I guess he's coming back from an injury, but he could have taken the time off. He could have been a bit like, look, I've worked hard to come back. I don't want to rush into things too quickly. But he's like, no, I want to carry in, go on training. Mason Greenwood carried on going in training as well, but the rest have taken the time off. I think it speaks volumes. Maybe, and again, maybe, and I don't want to throw too much shade here, but maybe Rashford and Mason Greenwood are like, tell you what, maybe the standard coach might be better if Ollie's not there. Like when you go into when you have a teacher at school and you hear they're off sick and then your substitute comes in, you're like, actually, I might learn something today. Maybe. I've got an exam coming up. I need to learn something. Maybe that might be the case there as well. Super chat from Ruben says, great show as always, Owen. Well, I appreciate that, Ruben. Appreciate the contribution. Be sure to smash a like on the video as well. We're only 4 likes away from 100. Nearly got a couple hundred people watching on an international break where it's just dull and boring and nothing's going on. I know, it's tough. But, interesting one about that players thought we could have been working on patterns of play. We could. We should have been working on them for 2.5 years. We haven't been, obviously. Or if we have, what has that been? So maybe that whole week off, maybe that's the point. Maybe some of the players are just so checked out of this coaching staff at this point that they kind of just said what I said a second ago. What would a week do? Really, what would a week do? What would they do in this week? Nothing, not really. But credit to Rashford and Greenwood going into training. Like I said, credit, it is their job. Credit for showing up to work when you could have been offered a week off. But still, it shows dedication to your profession. So I will always praise that. Another couple of things I did want to talk about, and we put it in the title as well, is that as we get closer and closer to January, or the end of the year rather, we talk about the winter transfer window. So there is some transfer stuff to talk about, which, as I spoke about the other day, you kind of feel a little bit like, almost like not comfortable talking about it, because when you talk about transfers and you talk about outgoings at the clubs in terms of players, for me it does kind of like mask what we really should be talking about, and we really should be talking about the future of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. To be honest, on a bigger scale, we should be talking about just huge reform in terms of the structure of the football club, in terms of Ed Woodward's leaving, staying on as a consultant. What is he going to be consulting? Oh, this is how you don't win anything. This is how you take over a club that was Premier League champions and you win nothing in terms of the league. This is how you take over the club and you only win the Community Shield and the Europa League and the League Cup. And that was years ago anyway. This is how you do it. But I can get you good shirt sponsors on your sleeve or something like that. I can get you sponsored by TeamViewer or whatever that is. What kind of consultancy is he going to offer? And I know he's done very well in terms of the commercial side of Manchester United. But in terms of the football side, what is he consulting? Nothing. But anyway, let's talk about transfers. Because according to the Mirror, and I know, the Mirror have said that Newcastle United are targeting three Manchester United players in January: Donny van der Beek, Jesse Lingard, and Dean Henderson. Now, those 3 players and that club are probably being linked because Newcastle, of course, they're going to be spending money in January. They're in the relegation zone. They have money to burn, the richest football club in the world ever. So, of course, they're going to be buying players. And I think in reality, the Mirror have just looked at, well, Newcastle are going to want to buy players. Which 3 players could leave Manchester United in January? Van der Beek, Lingard, Henderson. It's not much of a stretch, is it? Now, I think all 3 players absolutely could leave Manchester United in January. Would they go to Newcastle? I don't know if I necessarily see it. Lingard, I think Lingard will leave. I really do at this point. I don't think he's going to sign a new deal. I think that he probably looks at West Ham now and how well they're doing in the league. What, 3rd? They're, pushing for Champions League. Whether or not they get there at the end of the season is another question. But I think he's looking at West Ham and saying, right, I know the place, I know the players, I know the manager, I'm comfortable there. If they put an offer in January, I'll go. I'll tell Manchester United I'm not going to sign a new deal. And he should go. He should. I was saying in the summer he should go. Because there are too many people ahead of him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer somehow convinced him to stay. Or you've got a part to play, and he's not playing. What that part was, I have no idea. It was a magic part. Nothing there. So I expect Lingard to leave. I don't expect him to go to Newcastle. I know that his representatives, when you had that first Newcastle home game against Tottenham, that whole J-Lings thing was actually at St. James's at the time, but I don't think he'll go there. I think if West Ham's on the table, he'll go there. I really do. I understand Newcastle's probably closer to home for him, and maybe that might play a part. Get my words right. That might play a part for him, but I expect him to go to West Ham, to be honest with you. Donny van der Beek, I mean, he's changed his agent specifically because he didn't get him a move away from Manchester United in the summer. So he's going in January. Well, it depends. Like, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't in the job at the time, any of these players could stay, because when a new manager comes in, it's a clean slate. Who knows who they rate and they don't rate? You know, a new manager could come in. Donny van de Beek could play every game for the remainder of the season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could stay for the rest of the season, and Donny van de Beek would probably leave the club. It's as simple as that, really, isn't it? So, for me, if Ole's still there, Donny van de Beek will go. Whether that's a loan, whether that's permanent, who knows? But it's highly likely he's going to go. Like I said, he got a new agent to facilitate that move. So, would he go to Newcastle? Not permanently. Maybe as a loan, maybe. But there were other clubs that aren't in that much danger, like Everton, that were interested in him. I'm sure there'll be clubs abroad that'll be interested in. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went back on loan to, say, Ajax, with a view to do it permanently at the end of the season or something like that. Either way, like I said, I think it's not that it's like it's Ole or Donny, but I think Donny van de Beek's future does basically hinge on whether or not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the football club. That is just the case. Dean Henderson, it's another one. I saw a couple of things about that over the course of the last few days as well. You know, Henderson, it goes back to just, well, why did you sign him to a 5-year deal in the first place? He came in at the end of last season. I don't think he really shone particularly. I was really critical of him, especially in that game against Liverpool at Old Trafford at the end of last season. And David De Gea is back to his best this season. It's crazy. It's crazy because when you look at De Gea, we put a post out on Twitter and on Instagram this morning at United View TV, by the way. Be sure to give us a follow. And it was kind of, we said, who's the player of the season so far for Manchester United? You can let me know in the live chat. Who's going to be, who's our player of the season so far? And unanimously, it was either Cristiano Ronaldo or David De Gea. That was the only two people. That was the only two people that they were saying. De Gea, Ronaldo, because without those two, this season we'd have been screwed. And even though De Gea did make a bit of a mistake against Atalanta, could have and should have done better for the goal against Man City. But make no mistake, against Man City, he saved about 5 chances. It could have been about 6-0 if it wasn't David De Gea. And that's the story of our season. If it wasn't for David De Gea in goal and Cristiano Ronaldo up front, we'd have lost a lot of games. A lot of games. So Dean Henderson, he's just not getting in anytime soon. He's not. So whether or not United decide to let him go on a permanent deal in January, which I think at this point they probably should. He knows his career isn't at United really anymore. Who he would go to? Would he go to Newcastle? This is the thing. Newcastle is a risk. It's a risk at the moment because who's to say they can get themselves out of trouble? And Dean Henderson will have aspirations to play for England. The competition is relatively strong in there in terms of like Pickford and Ramsdale now at Arsenal too. So he just needs to be playing. I wouldn't be surprised if Henderson went out on loan in January and then a permanent thing was sorted out in the summer. Who that would be to, I don't know. Maybe it might be a loan to Newcastle. And then in the summer, if they stay up, he'll stay. If not, he'll move somewhere else permanently. But when it comes to, like I said, him securing his spot at Manchester United, it ain't happening. It's just not happening. David De Gea is too important to us. The fact that David De Gea can be considered as arguably one of our players of the season and our defensive record is so shambolic speaks volumes. Because if we didn't have him, and this isn't a slight to Dean Henderson, but some of those saves that David De Gea has made this season, Dean Henderson, he's just not making. He just would not make some of those saves. So... And as a goalkeeper, you know when the writing's on the wall. You know when someone's ahead of you. And I always myself, when I was playing in goal, I think it's really important to have continuity. I really do think it is. So I think he will probably be on his way out. Whether, again, that's permanent or temporary in January, we'll have to wait and see. There's another one. There's another story when it comes to signings. And again, this comes from the Mirror. But there's a couple of outlets have been reporting that United are interested in Jules Koundé from Sevilla. And... it's interesting that because obviously he was linked to Chelsea. I think he was linked to Liverpool as well, but specifically he was linked to Chelsea a lot over the summer and it didn't happen. And a lot of people are looking at that saying, have Manchester United basically just given up on Harry Maguire? Have they seen enough's enough? And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I really wouldn't. Because let's think about it. Varane and Koundé as a centre-back pairing, that doesn't sound bad. That really don't sound bad. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, would that work? I don't know. But Varane, Koundé, sign me up. Sign me up for that. Whether or not we would, activate, because I think he's got a release clause, and they're saying United are going to be willing to activate his release clause in January. Whether or not they would do that, I don't know. But it wouldn't be a bad answer to some of the defensive problems we've got. Koundé and Varane, I like that partnership, if Varane can stay fit, of course. And what does that mean for Harry Maguire? Koundé's an upgrade. Absolutely an upgrade on Harry Maguire. But, do you sign him and drop your captain? Because he's still the captain of the club. Or do you just go, you know what, Harry, you're just not doing it. You go on the bench, give the captaincy to Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what I would do. And maybe if a new manager comes in, that's what they'll do as well. Because you can kind of, it kind of softens the blow, doesn't it? If a new manager came in and went, okay, Harry, it's just a change. We're just going to do a change. Give the captaincy to Ronaldo. We've got Koundé coming in. Fight for your place. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But the other sort of aspect to it is that reportedly they're saying that Manchester United could use Edison Cavani as a bargaining tool in their bid to sign Sevilla's Jules Koundé. And I don't know necessarily how I feel about that one. Look, Cavani's going at the end of the season. We know that. He signed, he got that extra year, the extension. They triggered that clause to extend his contract for a year. But he's going to go at the end of the season. We know that. He's going to go. He basically stuck around just so he would be in decent shape for the World Cup, which is next year. He's probably going to go back to either South America or he might go to Spain or something like that. But I think you kind of get the impression he just wants to go home, to be honest with you. So as a make weight for that, maybe United are trying to cash in on Cavani. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. The problem is Cavani as well. And again, I'm a big Cavani fan. We talk about passion and desire kind of overly, don't we? We talk about passion and desire, and Ollie does all the time. But Cavani really, truly does have passion and desire. That's the passion and desire we want to see. And some of the players that they don't have, the issue is his fitness. And it's just a shame because I just think, man, if we'd had Edison Cavani when he was like mid-20s or late 20s, what a player he would have been for us. Because he does fit, doesn't he? He fits Manchester United. But it's his fitness. That's the problem. He's posted some videos as well about him working to come back to full fitness. Hopefully he won't be out for too long because I still do like the idea of Ronaldo and Cavani playing together in a system, but it's fitness, isn't it? That's the problem. It's fitness when it comes to Edison Cavani. Lastly, also as well, and this comes from, where does it come from? This comes from Sport Witness, and I'm just trying to talk about this. El Tempo, who have said, or Il Tempo, what a great accent I've got going on, who say that AS Roma wants to sign Diogo Dalot on loan, the same formula that AC Milan offered in the summer, but could try to sign him at an even lower price. Now, the interesting thing about this, of course, is that Manchester United linked Dalot's departure to Kieran Trippier, whose negotiations are continuing for Manchester United. Interesting, because that's basically what we heard in the summer. We heard in the summer that the reason that Dalot stayed is because we didn't get Trippier. If we were going to let go Diogo Dalot, it was to bring in Kieran Trippier. Who would I rather have? Kieran Trippier. Any day. Frankly, we talk about this sort of back five. He would be very useful in a back five if we were to continue with that. I like the idea of having Wan-Bissaka and Trippier. I said in the summer, and this isn't a slight on Wan-Bissaka. I think it's just, because Kieran Trippier is a good player. He's 30, 31, 30. I think that he would have played far more games than people thought he would, to be honest with you. There was kind of this impression, he's coming in as a backup to Wan-Bissaka. No, he's not. He isn't. He's coming in as a guy that's got a ton of experience, can still go. It's at an Atletico Madrid side that's doing decent. I mean, they won the league last season, but I think they're like 4th or 3rd in the Liga this season. But just a good player, a quality player with experience. So that is an interesting one. It's something to keep an eye on because, like I said, he stayed in the summer. But, apparently Roma are interested. Of course, Roma, you've got the Mourinho connection there. Mourinho was absolutely gassing him up massively, wasn't he? When we signed him under Mourinho was saying, he's going to be the best Portuguese player of this generation. He's going to be the best right back in the world and all that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me, certainly, if he went to join up with Jose at Roma. But again, I think, like this report says, that's linked to Trippier. If Dalot goes, that's because United are confident they're going to bring Trippier in. Reportedly, and this goes back to the summer, it's not what it says here, but going back to the summer, it was a case of United holding out for a certain fee to spend on Kieran Trippier because they felt because of his age they didn't want to overspend or anything like that. But I still stand by. I think Kieran Trippier will be an excellent addition, even at his age. I think that he would be very good. He would be very good. But like I said before, it kind of feels wrong, I suppose, to be talking about transfers, to be talking about who United are going to be bringing in and all that kind of stuff, because there are bigger issues. There are bigger issues at Manchester United right now, and I think that's the problem. I really do think that's the problem at the moment. Joshua Lewis says, could this be a succession plan? Zidane was in for Koundé. I can't even do the flex thing. You know when he gets really close to the camera? I'm too far away from mine. I have to lean over. I'd have to lean over my microphone. And I can't be bothered. Aaron Walker says, Prime Cavani would have been brilliant. Steffi Jenks says, passion, desire, and real talent. We're only 10 likes away from 150 likes, by the way. It's going to be a bit of a short one this evening, but we're only 10 likes away, over 300 people watching. So if you haven't already, be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. What's coming up over the course of the next few days? Well, I think tomorrow Flex is going to be doing a show. I think it's going to be earlier. I don't want to say morning. It might be early afternoon. Nevertheless, it's going to be earlier. It's not going to be a late night view or whatever or anything like that. So he will be on tomorrow. Sunday will be the full view with everyone, which is exciting. Those full view shows are always very enjoyable. Always a lot of fun, a lot of real great opinions. So I'm excited for that. And then once we get to next week, technically we're on a match week, right? Which is exciting. So what that will mean, who knows? Who knows what that will mean, what that will bring. One thing it won't bring, I don't think, is a change of manager. I do think that is coming in the future. As to when or how low they want Manchester United to sink first, how bad the board want it to get first, I don't know. And unfortunately, that's for us to find out. Nevertheless, guys, as always, I will speak for you again very, very soon. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Sunday with a full view. Be sure to tune in with Flex tomorrow, and I will see you again very, very soon.